Hello and welcome to another episode of Unfiltered Rugby League. This week we just want to start our episode by paying tribute to the late John Keir, a legend of the Rugby League circuit, remembered for obviously the Sheffield Challenge Cup win, the Hull Challenge Cup win, keeping Wakefield up. He's been a part of so many things, hasn't he? And to hear of his passing today, yesterday, has definitely rocked the rugby league world today. So just sending our thoughts and prayers to his family before we start this podcast today. But yeah, we're back again, lads. Challenge Cup final this weekend, and did it live up to it? Should have been a good game.
I didn't think it was a terrible game though. I think it blew out, didn't it? But I think both sides contributed to it being an entertaining watch.
It's a weird one because I never thought Hull KR were like in the game. Like even when it were like only 10-4, what, 10-4 at half time? Yeah. I didn't even think Hull KR were in it.
They weren't in
at
it.
That point it just felt like, yeah, they're 6 points behind, but I mean, how many errors did Wigan make? Wigan made loads of errors. Yeah. You know, it made you think like, if they actually... do you know what it reminded me of? It reminded me of very similarly to the Australia v England at Wembley. Like, Australia just didn't... I'm not saying Wigan didn't get... Wigan were very good on the day. Very, very good. And yeah, if Hull KR, they had probably an off day as well. But if they'd have played kind of their normal game, I still don't think they'd have won that game.
No, I think Wigan were. You could tell that they'd had a week. Majority of them had a week off, and that week had been put to good use.
Well, let's touch on that. They had the week off. They get pumped by KR. The kids get a run out. The rest of them come back in. Right call.
Lifting a trophy justifies it, doesn't it?
What do you think would have been happening if Wigan didn't win that game at the weekend? I think Pete would have been in the mud, I think.
I don't think he'd have been well and truly in the mud. I think he's got credit in the bank. But he'd have been under a little bit of pressure.
I think under pressure internally more so than maybe outsourced pressure. But
be interesting, wouldn't it? Because maybe his decision was well backed. You know, I'm assuming he's not just turned up on Tuesday and said, right, I'm going to play all young lads this week. I think it must have been a discussion as a club.
Good news for Catalans, wasn't it? Coming up this week, because he's told them they can go out and celebrate as long as they want to celebrate.
All right.
Yeah.
Interesting. But that's it, innit? Like, they can go and lose them games. What did they lose? 4 out bounce or 4 out of 5? Yeah. And actually they've won the games that matter, haven't they?
Thing is, I think
that's what good teams do.
I know, but I think they want to be careful within the league position. They've lost 4 on the trot. They give that game away. It's lost 5 now, all in all. I think they want to be careful because in recent years, in the last 4 years, they haven't played in a away semi-final before the grand final. So I think if they played Leeds the last 2 years on the trot, and you all know what it's like at Leeds Sports Village. I'm not saying if you reverse them fixtures, Lee would have won, but I think they'd have had a better, maybe backed themselves a little bit more playing at home. So I do think that home semi-finals, and you obviously get the bye as well, is massively important.
Yeah, I think there could be, as you say, maybe touching dangerous because the games come thick and fast, don't they now? So
I think they've got enough points in the bag though. They're not in any danger now. And finish top 2.
I don't think they'll finish top 2.
You don't think so?
I don't think they'll finish. I think it's almost a bit far gone now.
You were saying the other week though that Leeds are going to fall away.
I actually think Leeds will fall away.
If we think that Saints might fall away,
possibly.
Then there's 2 spots up for grabs, isn't there?
I mean, it'll be interesting, won't it, to see. I mean, this is kind of like Hull KR's first bit of adversity, isn't it, in terms of like going from that. Well, could we call it a dynasty now? I don't know. I mean, I suppose if they go on to win grand final, then it still is, isn't it? But
I just want to touch on it though. I just think if Matt Pete thinks he can just give 2 points away, what does that say about Super League?
Well, yeah.
Well, it goes back to what Michael was saying last week.
Yeah.
That you don't have to be at your best every week in Super League. You just don't. Yeah. And that's evident, I think, and I think anyone watching will admit that.
Found it interesting that Michael Chamas last week did mention that he felt, when we asked about how does it compare Super League, he were referencing Q Cup and New South Wales Cup that are almost like this. Actually, I think he did mention that they could be somewhat quicker as well than Super League, which I thought was interesting. I'm not sure whether they would be. Let's be right. These players.
Look at the players that we're signing though. We're not signing NRL players anymore. We're signing Q Cup and New South Wales Cup players.
It'll be interesting to see what works out going forward. Exciting, obviously, some of the points that he made the other day. We might touch on in a little bit more detail. London in particular, they're an interesting one to keep an eye on. I think their movement forward. But yeah, just going back to the Cup, big win for Wigan. Who needed to win that more? I think Wigan needed to win that. They needed to win that more than KR did. And yeah, you look at it now and you think, well, they've come out of it. I think Smith's been given a 1-match ban, hasn't he? I think Nsembere's come away with none.
And ironically, he was the one who got attacked and pushed and bashed by all Rovers players after that tackle. And Walter's got nothing, literally just walked away and then got shown a red card. It was like...
Yeah, I think they've read that one wrong, haven't they? I mean, I think they were both partly responsible for that. I think Yerry's almost pulled him down, hasn't he? But I think Nsembere's played a big part in that. Probably a very lucky boy to escape it, I think.
I think it was harsh.
So he's got 7 games, hasn't he?
I think 7 games are harsh, just because if you look at the Yusuf Aiden one.
But they've not turned around and said, you have got 7 games for this. It's totting up in it of his previous.
Well, he's got
points.
6. He's still got 6 for this. He's got 6. He's got 6 for it. So he had 4.5 points before. Is it 5 or 6 that leads to a ban? Whatever it is, anyway. I think he's got 6 for this offence. But I thought Yusuf Aiden's were a lot worse. And I actually thought, obviously Hastings copped his ban. And I know he hasn't gone down with downward pressure on his head when the Castleford one.
Yeah.
But when you're doing things out of frustration and anger, there's a certain level of intent in that. I don't believe that tackle. I've watched it back. It looks horrendous. It looks so bad. But I don't think there's any sort of intent there to hurt the player.
Yeah. I think it being on national TV and grabbing a few headlines, I think that's probably increases the level of it.
What are they doing now at that point of the game?
Bottom line is
doing tackles like that for.
Bottom line is we have got to be shown to be protecting our players, and if we're not shown to be protecting us players, the insurance premiums are going to go up and up and up and up, and we ain't going to have a game to watch.
I think it's a red card, and it deserves a ban. I think maybe they both should have copped a similar level ban. I thought they were both involved as. I thought they both played an equal part in there, but. So I'm not trying to say it's not a red card. I thought a red card on the day and a ban that does suffice. But I just think
just didn't look great, did it?
No,
like you say, if you've got
great.
potential, if you're trying to attract people to come and play our game, I think the spectacle actually looked pretty good. To be fair, in terms of like the game and how it was in play, and it was fast, wasn't it? You know, the game was quick, and I think a lot of people will, if eyes were going on that for the first time, it would have blowout in the end, but. Despite the errors and things, I think the game actually looked pretty good to watch. But yeah, you look at it from a new parent to a new sport, and you think if you're a parent, you're seeing something like that. It's a tough enough game as it is, without your kid getting dumped on their head. So you can see it's got to be dealt with, and that sort of stuff. I mean, I did think when I watched the game, Wigan were so aggressive. You saw it from the start, didn't you? Walters were a prime one, actually. I noticed him. We spoke about it, didn't we, when we seen him. Every tackle, it's temple to temple on, a player on the floor. Clearly, obviously, giving them something in the tackle. The old shove at mark and all that sort of stuff. And I think they were just far too aggressive for KR, and I think they were a bit startled, weren't they?
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
I think so. I think Rovers... It's not the first big game this year where they've been startled, for want of a better term. So maybe that's something that we need to look at.
Definitely. It'd be interesting to see how they bounce back now from that.
Yeah.
Important topic. Bevan French, he comes on the field, they take Jack Farriman off. Farriman didn't end up with that Lance Todd. It would have been shocking because he was outstanding early doors for them in that first half as well, going into the second. He looked like a different player, didn't he?
Yeah.
Like he is a good player, and you can see that. But he looked elusive. He was fast. His footwork. you know, everything what he was doing was just kind of ticking, wasn't it? I think it helps obviously having Smith kind of coordinating all the kicks and everything else, but
I think it helps given how dominant them Wigan forwards were there early on as well. It gave him that platform to be able to go on and play.
can we talk about Luke Thompson putting the ball down and definitely trying to throw it into the crowd, but dropping it on the floor? I thought that was brilliant at the time.
Yeah, Jack Farriman shouldn't have been taken off. I don't think he should have been. Matt Peake got questioned about after the game and said that he asked Bevan if he wouldn't mind missing out, and Bevan seemed to give a reaction back that he would be frustrated if he wasn't to come on, but Matt Peake's got to take control of that situation. Jack Farriman's played all the way up until the cup final, including the semi-final where again he played great against St Helens, so I think you've got to go with Jack Farriman there. But interestingly, going forward, what do they do? Because they've got
French as you mean, man. You can't drop him. You can't not.
Well,
like we were saying,
that's
though,
fine.
weren't we?
But you've got Chris Radlinsky coming out saying we're going to lose our young players. Well, you are, yeah, because you've got Bevan French on a long-term contract. You've got Jai Field on a long-term contract. Jack Farriman isn't going to sit there again next season.
But Bevan French ain't going to sit there and do it.
Which is fair enough, but then you've got to make a decision, haven't you? Do you want your Wigan lad staying there, playing for the next 10 to 15 years, or do you want Bevan French for another 2-3 years, and then obviously retires or moves on, or you keep him there till the end of your career? But there's a decision there. But Jack Farriman, there'll be a lot of other clubs watching out there thinking,
absolutely,
I'll have him as my starting six next year. So that's something that Wigan have got to contend with as well.
Yeah, I think they're at a point now, aren't they, where they're going to have, well, they're going to have multiple.
I think most clubs are like that though. Most clubs, it's just that he's shown it on a big stage.
Yeah.
I think most clubs are. They do it every year, don't you? You get to a point where a young player is being kept out.
Well, you look at Leeds and Saints; they're in the same situation, aren't they, at the minute? Saints with Whitby, Leeds with Brown.
I know.
But Croft is going at the end of the season, isn't he? So.
And to be fair, I don't think them two players are ready. Just to say, I don't think Whitby's ready to take the 7 jersey on. I don't think Brown's going to be ready to take the 6 jersey on. I think it's just a year too early. Jack Farriman is ready. He did what they're doing last year, as in coming in as a cameo appearance. He's coming this time when Bevan French has been out. He struggled a little bit at the start, but after that 2-3 games,
behind, then next year it is their year.
I don't know.
If Farriman's doing it this year, then next year is their year.
Potentially, yeah.
What would you do if you were at Wigan? What would you do if you were in charge? Because clearly, like you say, are they going to have? Is Farriman going to sit there for another year?
Or
if the likes of
French and Jai Field are both on long-term contracts.
Like you say, if Leeds come calling, say to Farriman, look, we'll pay you 40 grand more than what you're on now.
I know, but how long is it? I don't think he's on a long-term.
Regardless, if he's under contract, he ain't going anywhere. If Wigan don't want him to go anywhere, he ain't going anywhere. He goes on loan or he goes. Maybe that's the conversation that they have. Look, we'll let you go on loan for a year, and then come back and be our starting half-back or our starting 6.
Would they get some salary cap relief though if he obviously comes off his contract?
If he goes on loan,
because Wigan might need to free up some space anyway.
Yeah.
Well, it's if they don't register him. It's if they don't play second play. But if they, like I say, they're under contract. But if they can. I'm just using the scenario, Leeds come in for Farriman and they want him and they say, look, we'll pay you double the money you're on at Wigan, 5-year contract, whatever, and then, you know, he's got 2 years left at Wigan. Can Wigan just scrap say, look, we'll cut the contract, but that then gives them that relief, doesn't it? They've then got 50k to put on somewhere else.
After his performance, you want him to transfer fee, aren't you?
Yeah, 100%, yeah. To be fair, I do actually believe Lee is a childhood Lee fan, always family Lee fans. I think that could be a potential destination.
I suppose there is that, like, say he wins the grand final with Wigan this year, but then it's, he hasn't got an opportunity to be 6 or 7 next year. It'd be a 6 one if Smith's going to be keeping.
Or
there's that 6 shirt. That's not his.
Do you take that gamble that Field and French aren't going to be fit all next year?
No, 100%, and I agree with that. He's still going to get opportunities to play like he has this season.
But he's just second fiddle, isn't it?
At the same time,
he wants to play second fiddle.
Is he going to want to go into another season of just sitting and waiting for a chance, and then knowing as soon as Bevan French is back fit or Jai Field's back, whichever way they work the spine out, then he's back out.
Yeah,
I think for me, if I'm in charge of Wigan, I'm looking at it thinking, actually, he's a great benefit for us having him, because now I don't have to rush Jaifield back. We all said that Jaifield didn't look fit when he first came back, and that's because they rushed him back. Actually, they don't have to rush French back. They can literally be on for 20 minutes a game for the next 3 weeks if they need to.
Well, they've said he's gone. I think he's gone back into rehab, hasn't he?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, so they said he won't be playing for a few weeks. Again, I don't know if it's mind games or what, but it sounds, because it says like the 20-minute cameo were in the end of it kind of a costly thing. Not saying that he's re-aggravated anything, but they're just saying he wasn't quite ready anyway.
Yeah.
But that game could have been 10-all, couldn't it?
Yeah.
And they needed a Bevan French to come up with some magic.
He came on and instantly scored, didn't he? So.
100%. Listen, no one can take it. Obviously, you've got a player. Bevan French is a lot.
He's a man of steel player.
Yeah, he's an all-round player. Obviously, you're going to pick him every day of the week over Farriman. But it's just how long is Bevan French under contract to 2030?
I think all three of them are not there next year. One of them's.
I think
going to go.
Are there next year? You just manage it.
You can't manage it for another 3-4 years, though.
No, you don't need to manage it for another 3-4 years. You just need to manage it you need to manage it this year and next, and then you've
It's
got.
a tough one, isn't it? Like you say, you're not. I mean, what's Farriman must have 20 to 30 games at least now under his belt. So he was playing a fair bit last year. He's probably debuted the year before and played a few cameos, so he must have 20 to 30 games now.
Yeah.
We're not talking like he could easily, if he stayed next year, have notched up 50 games by. The midway through the season.
You don't want such a young lad playing 50, 60 games by that age.
No, but George Williams did it.
Exactly, look at what George Williams is doing now.
Well, still
we'll go on to that one shortly.
Yeah, well, just to kind of wrap this up, you look at that Wigan team now, and it's great, and it's a prime example that we spoke about the other day, the good example of the pathway programme works. We've got Hodgkinson there that's playing on the wing, that's a full-back. You've got Eckersley that's on the wing and everyone thinks he's a winger, but we're actually a full-back. Yeah. You've got... They're littered with players, aren't they? Really. You sort of think, where does that leave Liam Marshall? He ain't going to be on cheap money. But you've got someone like Eckersley and Hodgkinson there that could quite easily be on the wing. You've got Field that's playing...
For me, you shouldn't be paying wingers big money. It's just,
I've always thought that, to be fair. I think it depends what they bring. If it's someone that's just scoring in corner.
If it's someone like a Sivo who gets you out of...
It's a yardage, isn't it?
Yeah.
If someone has that whole package of yardage, speed, and can finish a try like that.
And Marshall does that.
Yeah. Yeah, he does it very well, to be fair.
Yeah, but you don't want to be paying wingers big money.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
I'm going to say, I think long-term Hodgkinson's not going to be on the wing, but I think Eckersley could be their winger for the next 10 years if he wanted to. I think he signed a big deal last year, actually, anyway. But, do you think French is there next year?
Oh, yeah. Both of them signed long-term.
Farriman leaving?
Extension. I don't think... Farriman might not leave next year, but he's not waiting till the end of Bevan French's or Jai, because if Jaifield goes off a contract, Bevan French could go into into full-back, but I just don't think he's going to wait that long.
Or do they manoeuvre stuff around so Field goes into centre and...
Field can't go into centre.
It's too lightweight. I don't know what they do. Jack Farriman will be getting whispers, whether it's from his agents or other clubs, that look, you can be our starting six next year.
But they've been having them for years.
I don't think he will have, not as a starting, not as getting the six jersey.
With his talent, I
think there'll be clubs that he'll be on the radar and be interested, but I think what he showed the other day is that just big game, innit? Yeah. But he's very fortunate to have these players round him.
Absolutely. Do you want to leave, or do you want to continue learning under the likes of Field?
Well, this is what they say, don't they? One thing could be, you could go on loan to the likes of Huddersfield and do a season-long loan there as their starting half, if that works for them. But it's like they've spoke about before. Are you benefiting any more as a player by going somewhere that their facilities, they're getting beat all the time, the coaching's not as good, players around them are not as good?
He's not going to go into a club like that, is he?
No, but like I say, he's not going to go on loan to Saints, Leeds, Warrington either.
There's a lot of clubs looking for him at the minute.
Warrington didn't go to Saints, he can go to Rovers.
I don't know.
So that's it, someone like...
Warrington have just signed another full-backs, now they've got 4 full-backs.
They're going to sign another one.
No, but I'm just saying, for example, if you'd have said to me who KR are going to sign, I think full-back would have been last on the list. We've got 3 already. You don't need another one. So clubs will go out and do it, and clubs will facilitate, move other people out. Hull FC have got rumours that both their halves are leaving at the end of this year. So
I think a lot of people at Hull FC will leave this year.
Well, that's what I mean. There's clubs out there that are going to be moving. Hull FC, notorious over the last year since the sort of the takeover. They paid massive money.
But regardless, so massive money. You're talking about getting opportunities. Are you going to go to Hull?
Yeah.
Would you? From Wigan, would you go to Hull?
Well, Harvey Hill's just done it. These players out there, there's money. Harvey Hill got offered a 3-year contract, and rumours was it was more than double his money that he was current.
All right, but are you going for money? Are you just doing it for the money, or are you going because there's a project there that you want to put
Well, I think there's an element in everything. There is going to be a project there, but there's got to be an element of money. It's a short career. Everyone that moves around Super League, I think there's a very small minority of rugby league players in the English game that doesn't move or stay for money.
I think there is something to be said as well for, like, he's won the Challenge Cup now. You know,
Lance Todd as well.
He's won the Lance Todd. He's definitely been part of them grand final teams, and if they go on and win it this year, and he either plays a part or he's part of that team and still gets a medal because he's played most of the season, he's done it effectively, hasn't he? His only other thing is, if he wants to get into that England fold, he's probably got a better chance of getting an England fold as an halfback at Wigan than if it were at halfback at
He's got 4 years before next World Cup comes round. He's got plenty of time.
Yeah. We're going to have to wait and see.
It'll be interesting to see how it pans out. It's a luxury problem to have.
He could wait and see if McDermott names him as captain, then he's got to pick him.
Well, coming on to McDermott and his comments, obviously he's been on another podcast this week and obviously made comments about George Williams. What do you reckon to those? How do you feel about him?
It kind of reinforces everything I said a few weeks ago, which was he's named him as captain and he's got to pick him, regardless. Whether anyone likes it or regardless of form or whatever else, he's got to pick him. But, and I said it to you guys earlier, that's the problem with naming your captain early.
Yeah.
Because if he is out of form, so say he makes the comeback and he comes back 2-3 weeks before the end of the regular season, then plays a bit of playoff rugby, and he's awful, and he stinks the place out.
I still stand by. I think he's genuinely just one. If he'd have come in and just said, right, got no captain, taking captaincy off. Well, he can either say, I haven't got my captain, which just basically says, George Williams, you're not my captain anymore. But it's like one of them, it's coming in with iron fist, and he probably can't do that at that level.
For me, as well, is he's come in, he came out over there and said, well, I'd only ever really spoken to him and I've shaken hands with him at the end of the game. Yeah. So, actually, why have you picked him as your captain? Because you don't know what his leadership qualities are.
So I think it's a weird one, isn't it? It's not like...
So I don't think he's picked that captain. I think that captaincy's been forced on him.
Well, that's what I mean. I think the captaincy has just rolled on. It's just rolled forward, hasn't it? It's like Harry Kane.
The RFL.
If Harry Kane were out of that England team, well, I just think it's rolled on from the last one, and then nothing's happened.
George Williams has got good references, whether we like it or not. He's got great references across Super League, across any manager. I think if you put him on the market,
we're not saying he's a bad player.
No, I know, but he was always going to go, whether you like it or not. Other reporters, other media outlets, George Williams, regardless of whether he plays another game this season, have all said he's going to that World Club. Not because the RFL have pushed that up on...
I think if he goes, but there could be a case if he don't play a game.
I don't think there is. I think he's got, if he got
just cannot see.
If he comes back and he's fit, he's got to play. He's the captain.
How on earth? He's coming back with a couple of games left at year. Where are you getting that from? No, where that? No, I'm not asking you. I'm asking him where he's getting that from.
Ooh.
Where are you getting that from? Oh, he's going to play a couple of games. Then if they get into playoffs, a couple more. Then I go. Where are you getting that from?
No, I get what you're saying, but this is where I go back to my reference thing. Any England manager, it don't matter who got the job, whether it was Willie Peters, whether it was Brad Arthur, they're all going in with George Williams at 6. Or 7, if you really want to be.
I don't think they are. You think if it were Brad Arthur, if he got the job, you think he'd go in with Williams at 6?
Yeah, I think he would do, yeah. The other thing you've got to look at is, who else is there?
Well, your other one's just Lewis, isn't it? Lewis and Conor, really. Harry Smith.
And for me personally, I'd much rather have Williams than Lewis.
I mean this in the nicest possible. Knowing Williams is in that team, whether you like him, don't think he's that good, or I think Michael Lewis deserves to play ahead of him. You know it's that like safety net. You know what he's gonna. You know what he's gonna. The Ashes. No one stood out in the Ashes, so we can't reference the Ashes because the Ashes was just poor across the board. There was only Jez Litton for me that was anyone that really put a shift in or actually showcase himself. Apart from him, I don't think anyone referenced himself in that way.
I'm just going to quote what he said in this podcast, and he kept referencing, and he referenced this talking about why he got the job, and he was saying about England having to be different. Their play has to be different. You can't go set for set with them. You can't go in with this like, oh well, like if we have a steady player, and who are the players that are going to offer something different? Conor and Lewis.
I think it'd be a risk to play them two in house. I just
can't get out of the point of what he's saying where it needs to be something different. How can he say something different but come up with the same players that do the same things every week?
I don't think he's coming up with the same players. He's one player out of 17 in it so far.
Yeah.
What for? Well, yeah, obviously there's him, but you're looking at the players that dictate the play, and that's him. And if he's dictating that short side play again that doesn't work, it don't work.
But is that not Sean Wayne's game plan? And is he playing to Sean Wayne's game plan?
Every half-back
Possibly.
plays that game plan, don't they? That's what they do there.
Are we judging Williams by Sean Wayne's game plan rather than what Williams can do?
I mean, Williams is, like I say, his kicking game's good as well.
6-7 games of the season for Warrington has been outstanding.
I like him out saying he's a bad player. I just think that he doesn't play. Not because of in choice, I just think he don't get back in time. And if the player's not back in time, they don't play.
But Brian McDermott said he's going to.
I think by saying that, he's a smart guy. I think he's by saying that, he's all year then he's not going to have who's going to be a captain at World Cup. It gives him more time to think. So I think it's all, he's said it, and he probably knows in his head.
No.
It's too much of a gamble to wait all that time if he's my captain and then last minute
if he's not
best
back,
change.
I suppose it gives him an out, doesn't it? Because if he's not back, then he can turn around and say, well, we didn't make it back in time.
Yeah.
Listen, Brian McDermott is not going with Michael Lewis in the house.
No.
No way is Brian McDermott going with Michael Lewis in the house for the World Cup.
But rightly so as
well. He might go with Smith and Conor.
He will go. I don't think.
But Williams isn't there. He's going to have to go with something else.
Yeah, 100%. But he's been on the phone. He's clearly talked. He said that he spoke to Williams. Now he spoke to Williams for a few different reasons. He said he spoke to him 3 or 4 times. Once before the operation, once after the operation, and he spoke to people at Warrington, the physios. He's keen as anything to get him back. He's been told that he's going to be back two weeks before the season closes. Well, 2 weeks before the final start, actually. So he could, depending on how far Warrington get, he could get 1 or 2 games in before the game. He's literally referenced it saying he's got enough time to do the training, a little bit of a training camp before they go out, and then a training camp when he gets to Australia. Like, he's referenced his timeline. Like he hasn't just said.
I've seen that, but we all know you could do a building project. It don't mean to say it's going to go like that.
But I'm saying to you, if he is back ready, whether Warrington make the top 6 or not in the finals, whatnot, and if he is fit before the season closes out and he's played 1 game or no games, he's going to go and he's going to play. Because you're not going to waste a position on someone that's not going to play at all. Like, you can't afford to do that. Now, Michael Lewis will be in the squad, but he's not going to be Michael Lewis at 6 unless we win the first.
Why would he not go with Lewis at 6?
I just think everyone goes on about how much Mikey has grown as a person, which I fully believe he has done over the years, but I still believe he's got far too much petulance in his game. We've seen 2 or 3 trips this season.
Yeah,
he's been bad. Brian McDermott, we all know what sort of bloke he is.
Yeah, he won't have that.
He's not having stuff like that. He wants straight shooters, and I think if Jake Conor, if you remove this period he's had with Brad Arthur, I don't think he would have gone with Jake Conor. No. Brad Arthur has completely changed Jake Conor's whole game from start to finish. It's like he scrapped the old version and made this new version of Jake Conor, and that's exactly why I think he'll be nailed on for 7 sure.
If I reverse that, why would you pick Michael Lewis?
I just think that going down the base of he said we need to offer something different. I think the running threat of Lewis is completely different to any other halfback that we've got. Don't think you get it with Smith. I think Williams has started to change his game from what it used to be. I think Williams is a very different player now to 6-7 years ago when he were finishing Wigan, NRL, starting back at Warrington. I think they're 2 very different players. So I think Williams now offers something very, very similar to what Conor looks like now. And it's a case of them two, who goes into, and then your other one is Lewis. I think you've got to offer. I honestly think he'll go with Lewis.
I won't pick Lewis.
He's not going Lewis.
In fairness, I wouldn't put him in my squad though.
At all.
Don't get me wrong. Like, if it comes to crunch and we get to the latter stages,
Why are we all discussing it anyway? It's Sam Walker and George Williams, isn't it? It makes no difference.
if it gets to the latter stages,
George Williams don't play in that World Cup for me.
You don't think he plays?
Nah, I don't think he's part of that squad.
Well, you are the only man in English
No.
rugby league that thinks that.
I look forward to being proven right.
Oh, yeah.
Wow.
Like you're making a massive gamble on.
I'm not going off what McDermott said, because we said before McDermott came out and spoke that
we know nothing about.
Well, I know, but he knows something about it.
I think if it's something, I think
he
we're
wouldn't
talking
he
like.
wouldn't have come out and said he's going to play if he's not had and not spoken to Williams, not spoken to the medical staff at Warrington, and not got some sort of insight to say, yeah, he'll be back and he'll be all right to play.
But that's the thing. Can you imagine James Graham? Is George Williams going to play and him going, nah, I don't think so. Or, we'll see if his injury's back in time. Like, he ain't going to say that.
He could quite easily say,
He's just because it just opens a can of worms for himself.
He ain't going to lie. He's got no to worry about.
Yeah, but think of all the stuff. Is he a man that's generally in the past liked speaking to the media about stuff?
He
hates being
When's he going to speak to the media? He's an assistant coach.
Yeah, but he's still going to get questions, isn't he?
Why? Who's going to question him?
Because we're leading to a World Cup.
Yeah, but he's chose to go on that.
So
that's
fine. He'll only get questioned when he decides to do a press conference.
Yeah, but he's going to get questions about who is your captain at the World Cup.
By who?
The media, they're going to ask the questions.
When?
So if he says, I don't know my captain yet, what's he going to get for the rest of the year?
But who's interviewing him?
Anyone that wants to interview him.
No, they're not. He just turns around and says, no, I'm not doing it.
Is he?
Why not? He was England manager. He's the new coach, which he's just done. That was the woman that did it in Australia. He has had to do that.
Yeah,
Could he have just turned around and gone, nah, I'm not doing it?
Of course, he's had to do an announcement.
Did they ask him who his captain was?
But
The best
so I
thing.
appreciate
Don't test him
that.
there.
I completely appreciate that. But now he's done it. When does he have to do an interview again?
He don't have to do because he's told him that it's George Williams.
Yeah, but
you don't have to
regardless, all right. So
So that's my point.
Say
My point
Matthew
is,
Shaw
I think
picks up the phone to the RFL and says, I need to do an interview with McDermott because I want to know who the captain is.
But he don't need to do that because he said it's Williams.
No, but if he said no, he's not going to be out. He's going to be out for the rest of the year. He's not going to be my captain. It takes one journalist to pick up the phone to say, can I do an interview? No. All right, okay. And that's it.
So you think they'd just go out wait at World Cup and then he'd just say, this is my captain?
Yeah.
No way.
No,
they'd announce
So he's not going to do any
his
interview.
captain when he announced his squad.
So he's not going to do any interview
Don't need
all the way up to that point about England. So you think between now and the end of the year,
Why does
there's
he
no
need to?
interview?
Why does he need to?
There's no interview at all?
Why does he need to do
There won't be now. There won't be now.
Of course there will be.
Why?
You think there's going to be nothing between now and the end of the year?
Why does he need to do one?
I'm not saying he needs to do one.
So, there you go.
He'll be made to do one.
No, he won't.
100% he will be.
Until he picks a squad.
Until he picks a squad and he announces the squad, he doesn't need to do an interview.
Right, so when
Because
does
he's
it...
an
When,
assistant coach in the NRL.
when does he have to... Yeah, but he's the England manager. Like, they're two separate jobs.
Right, well...
They're two separate jobs, aren't they?
Let's just
Paid by two separate people.
Right, let's just reference it to last year then. When did Sean Wayne do an interview?
Remember
He
what
didn't.
Sean Wayne did, to be
He
honest.
Yeah, I know, but I'm just like he won't do one until he picks a squad now. He's about to do one an appointment.
This is rugby league.
All I'm telling you, my black and white of this story
UK.
is... My black and white is... He's said, George Williams is my captain. Right? Now no one says anything. Because allegedly he's the captain.
I don't think it makes the slightest bit of difference anyway. I mean, we're talking about England Rugby League, and I know we're massive fans, so we take it all under advisement, but actually, in the grand scheme of things, no one in the UK really gives a two monkeys whether...
Well, they probably don't, do they? I think there
And
would
that's
be
why-
there
and
would be
that's
a lot
why-
of Anoraps that would probably want
yeah.
to... who's doing this or who's going to be going here?
And it'd
Who's your
generate-
halfbacks at the World
and
Cup?
it'd generate a bit of column inches in the League Express or in Rugby League World or whatever it's going to be. But actually, you don't need to do an interview now. But regardless, even if he'd have said, I don't know who my captain's going to be yet, until I pick my squad, I don't know who the captain's going to be. Makes no difference. Don't make any difference who that captain's going to be until he names the squad.
Yeah.
And right then and there, then it needs to be a leader.
I think there's going to be a lot of changes, to be fair. I think he's going to change the full-back role completely.
Victor Radley should have been anyway.
I think Herbie Farmour's going to go to full-back, which is a bit of a worry because I don't know who we go. I don't think we've got...
John Bateman.
Team centre. He's not
John
going
Bateman at centre.
Yeah, so I think there's going to be a lot of changes and whatnot. One thing that's not changing is George Williams, but yeah.
It pains him, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Pains him.
I can't wait for the first game, mate.
I can't wait till George Williams scores that trick in first.
Can't wait for you to be 2 games left at season and he's still not in Warrington team. And like, oh yeah. And we'll still get to the end. Warrington won't even get to the grand final, and you'll still be saying, but Williams was going to start in that first game. But we're finishing that topic now. We're moving on. So Victor Radley.
Yeah.
Where do we stand with him?
England's number 13, mate. All day long. He's eligible for England. Picking him. Tell me about 13. Who's eligible for England?
I think he'll play Knowles at 13.
No, he's going to go. Let's not get silly now.
No,
he's going to go Radley. Like, whether we like it or he's going to go Radley.
You know when I left earlier on, did you slip him a few drinks?
I know. He's going to go Radley. He's not going Knowles at 13. Now listen, to be fair, it's a bit different in World Cup because you can chop and change each team, and if he wins the first couple of games, he can maybe rest a few players and put a few players in. But I think when it comes to crunch, I think Radley's going to be at 13. To be fair, he got asked very plain and simply in the media, and that's one thing.
And he would be.
The reason why I take what he says so gospel, he's a straight shooter in the media, and he doesn't care. Like he says things very much straight as they are. And he's already said, obviously, he's looking at the Australians that are eligible.
He would be my captain, by the way.
Yeah, you can't have an Aussie captain.
Yeah, you can.
You can't. Especially after his recent comments, you can't have an Australian captain.
You bench me.
Anyway, so
I'm just jumping into what I think is going to happen. I think Radley will get picked, but so it's what it is, isn't it? People can like it all of it.
Barring injuries.
Not sure, mate.
Or suspensions.
Not sure on Radley. I think jury's out on him.
Wow.
I think he might not even make squad to be.
Oh my God.
I'm not even joking.
You are.
I'm honestly not joking.
Wow.
You can't say someone who's getting picked for New South Wales. He's not going to get picked in England.
Saying it
I
for,
just
for
don't think he
TikTok
will.
links.
Yeah, I know.
That's what he's saying it for TikTok links.
Honestly, I don't think he'll even be in the squad.
Wow.
I'm calling now Williams in the squad and Radley in the squad either.
I want whatever you've been drinking.
So I don't know who goes in, but I don't think them two will be a part of it.
Yeah.
I don't support online abuse, but I think this deserves it.
If it's fun as well.
Right, let's move on from England.
Like and subscribe and comment and hurl abuse.
We're ages away, so let's just move on from the All England topic. What's next?
Right, we'll have a look at this week's games anyway. We're back to Super League, aren't we? Thursday night, Leeds against Saints. That's probably the game of the week, we would say. Obviously, Saints coming off a tough loss
Um,
away at Castleford. We went to that one and they just looked terrible, didn't they? Really poor. I mean, what's going on there at the minute?
I don't know. I said at the start of the season that spine's not going to work. Spine again is getting questioned now by every single media outlet that's out there. So
Yeah, I see somewhere this week that someone said that Wellesby needs to leave Saints.
you will have done. That's because there's rumours that Sailor is ever so close to signing a new deal.
Is it?
Thing is,
Come on,
he's
Mr.
probably been Saints' most consistent player. I don't think he's missed a game actually since signing. So in terms of his consistency, why not? We're putting everyone else in it that's Australian, so might as well. It just don't work, does it? It don't work.
No.
The two of them, Wellesby ended up in the centre in that game, so it was kind of like, I think the message had come over eventually that this is not working, and he needs to. But then Wellesby come up with that cheap shot that were like just again like petulant. The game.
Did he get a ban for that? Just under.
I think it was just points. Yeah, he got points for it. I think it was just Hastings that came off with a ban. But yeah, you've
beaten Leeds with no Hastings.
Yeah,
I think the problem I've got with it since Sailors comes in, you've moved. Wellesby has taken a lot of the hits. They've moved Wellesby all over the park.
So no consistency.
Just to fit in Sailor and like Wellesby must be sat there and think, listen, as soon as I've got my opportunity, I'm going. Like there'll be another club, another top 4 club in Super League that'll take him at fullback.
Yeah.
And that's probably what he wants because he was England's number 1, and you knew that.
Joking aside, where would he go? You're saying top 4. Where would he go?
I think there's places that would fit him in.
Like?
I think Leeds would look at him.
Instead of Lucky Miller,
I was thinking that possibly Leeds.
He's leading Man of Steel.
I know, but Lucky Miller's only got you know, 1 year. I think to have a lad that's from England, you're not as worried about them.
Be lower on
you
the
know,
cap
going
on it as well.
Going home because he's come through there.
Came on cheap, did Lachie Miller.
Surely not since he'd done a contract extension, didn't he?
Was
But initially he came on cheap.
Yeah.
I think Warrington would look at Jack Wellsbury.
The fifth fullback.
Warrington.
Just said.
I think he meant
Okay.
Ulker.
All right, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Warrington. Listen, no doubt about it. Wherever they can fit someone on, if you've got enough money to fit someone on the cap.
I'm not sure many teams fit him under cap.
Yeah, he'll be on decent money at Saints now, won't he? So he'll probably have to take a pay cut maybe to go somewhere else, or you go in somewhere like, possibly, good shout.
This team's out, maybe top four were a bit of an absolute push, but I
I
still believe it.
I reckon all of them. If
Don't
he was
top
available
four
on the market.
He's a top four fullback, but I think all four teams have got the fullbacks.
I know. I
think
still believe
it'd be
if he
an
goes
absolute-
up, everyone's looking at him.
I think it'd be a travesty, mate, if Saints let him go. But
I would
when he came through and he
the
got
Saints-
given that number one,
How would
that
the Saints fan base take it?
I don't know.
I don't think they'd be happy with it.
You reckon?
Yeah, I don't.
He gets week in, week out after all the
I think
slander he
I think
gets.
it's not good at the minute, but I think
It's not been good for 2-3 years since Sailor came in.
yeah, pretty much since then. To be fair,
And let me tell you, 'cause I actually think last year, although he got a lot of stick off the fans, I still believe he wouldn't have even entertained leaving. But I think this season, I think the way it's possibly heading for City, everyone's always said they're in a false position, which
And
we're a little bit unfair, but I still do think now in the back of his head he might be thinking I'd be open.
and you've got to remember the key to this is, despite him coming through at Saints from Scholars all the way through, he's a Wigan lad. He ain't a Saints lad, so there's not that pull of, oh, it's my hometown team and all the rest of it. I think that's why when these discussions, when he went on the buy round before, and there were NRL rumours at that point, you sort of were thinking, well, he's won everything at Saints. There's no really to kind of keep him there for an opportunities that he could go. But potentially, you sort of think of would an NRL team still be interested in him?
I think he's a yard slow for NRL.
He does look a lot slower now than what he did when he came through.
And I don't think the Ashes series helped him at all.
No, it didn't.
If there were
Do you think any NRL team would take a punt on him?
No.
I think there must be someone in there, even if he went over,
Possibly.
not to be a main starting fullback.
I think they would, but it'd be on poor money. Oh no, not
Possibly
necessarily.
Perth.
Yeah, not necessarily.
That's what I mean,
Not necessarily
someone like
poor
that.
money, but no.
I mean, it's a year ahead.
Not even just that, I think-
big money to go to London.
That's what I mean. Potentially. If he came up on the market, I think London would definitely look at him.
I think so as well.
He's been a poster boy. He was previous to this. He was the poster boy for Super League for however many years.
Yeah. I think it's interesting how this one plays out. In terms of the game,
Got Wakefield.
yeah, it's bad, that, isn't it? It's not good at all. I mean, fortunately, it's happened now. Some players have come back now, aren't they, in sort of 7-8 months from ACLs, which is, I don't know how they're doing it, but yeah, it's obviously coming back quicker. I don't know with Jack, to be honest. It's an interesting one, really, how it'll play out. I would be more in favour of keeping Jack. I think the project with Sailor, as good as Sailor's been at times, hasn't worked, and I would be probably looking to offload him.
Yeah,
if
listen.
possible.
To be fair, the new deal might have quietened down now. That was after the start of after the front 4 or 5 games when they won the front 4 or 5 games. But I still, from what's out there in the media, there has been talks of extending the contract as there has with Hastings. I can understand the Hastings ones. He's leading the assists in it. He's what you need. You need a 7. I just think that one and they both full
Shove
backs.
another Aussie in there as well. Whilst we're
Go for it.
at Brimson back as well. Put him at full
If
back.
we can't beat him with English, then let's beat him with. I genuinely don't think if we won a World Cup, it wouldn't make any difference what nationality everyone were. We'd all be buzzing.
Would it just mean that a little bit less?
No, why would it? They're all at some stage or another. They are all eligible for England now.
How did you feel when Rangi Chase and Maury Savalu played for Great Britain?
Didn't have an issue with it.
No.
They were making England better, weren't they, or Great Britain better?
I think it's difficult, isn't it? Like, I think there are periods where
Had a good couple of games in that series. He was on form, wasn't he? He was the form pro.
Did he end up playing for England after that as well? In the
Maybe
Well,
oh yeah, he did, yeah.
in
But yeah, absolutely. Every other sport does it.
I know what you mean when you look
cricket
at
team
Union
is made
and
up
stuff.
of New Zealanders and South Africans and
Yeah.
Indians and whatever else.
And no,
So
other than like you say,
the
the people that love the game.
Australian team is made up of Fijians and Kiwis and whatever else. So why should we not go for the Samoans and Tongans? So yeah, if they're eligible for us, let's do it.
Why not?
Get them in.
Fair point.
But anyway, Rhinos.
Rhinos were on back of a big win as well, weren't they? They topped Huddersfield, didn't they?
I think Leeds
I
looking
can't
good.
see Saints getting anything.
One thing I do want to say.
The only thing is I could be wrong in saying it, so don't quote me on it. I don't think Leeds have beat Saints at Headingley since 2017,
Really?
which is a long time.
The dual one then, aren't they?
Yeah, and I would say if they can't do it this time,
I don't know how
something's not right.
Jake Conor in top 10 me as well of the Man of Steel shortlist.
Did they reveal the other 5?
Yeah, they did. I can't remember exactly who was in it now. They did reveal the full top 10.
And he weren't in it.
They weren't in it.
I'm surprised at that.
I think Crofty's overshadowing it a little bit only this year.
Yeah.
Potentially, yeah.
And it was the other way around last year. Conor was overshadowing, and Croft was going really well last year.
I still thought it was top 10, but
Yeah, we'll see. So Rhinos for that one, yeah. Warrington and Hull. Yeah, I can't see anything other than that. Warrington for me as well. Bradford and York. At Bradford, I believe.
Bradford, yeah.
Interesting one, that one, to be fair.
No, I saw York the other week and they were.
I think it's supposed to be it's supposed to be a pretty boggy weekend with weather as well. So I think you don't want to be
Prime Odsal game for Bradford, yeah. Castleford and Lee. Obviously, Cass coming off a big win.
Lee.
Yeah, I think Lee are back now. I don't want to discredit him too much with Cass with that win against Saints, but we can all say Saints were abysmal.
They were bad, and for Cass to only be, I think, we were 4-0 up for most of that first half.
And
we were watching the game thinking, how were they not? Another team would have been 20, 30 points up at that point.
And also, obviously, the week before, Saints only just beat Giants.
Yeah.
So I think a loss we're heading for Saints, but I think Lee are starting to get a bit of form back. They've won the last 3, so Lee.
Giants to lose, obviously, not the best of first games for the Giants' new coach, but this is probably. I mean, let's be right. If it's your first game, you just don't want to be playing Leeds away, do you? So he should have come a week later probably for that game, but yeah, he won't have had long anyway, will he?
No,
he's had a bit of time.
He only got Wednesday, didn't he?
Yeah, he's had. He probably won't even see that as his first game, really, because I'm sure it were all dealt with by Finn up to that point. But
I just, if you're sat in stands there in your Jim Linehan, watching that, what are you thinking?
Can't get any worse than this.
Can I cash in my loyalty points on Qantas?
He must have been shocked. He's probably been thinking, I didn't think it was this bad.
I just think what you've got is you've got Cass, and I know Cass have come under a lot of pressure, but listen, week after week, and they're making movements in the market, and they are signing. You know, you're always hearing about it, they are signing, and especially for next year, and also this year they've signed some really good players, and Giants have just stayed in. You know, they brought in Lee Kershaw.
On the Giants, though.
Kershaw's a winger.
Could be playing for England.
No, he's not Australian.
Throw him in.
No, he's not Australian.
Good ball, throw him in. Just on the topic, though, Giants, I thought it was interesting. Ian Watson had come out and said a few bits about when he were at Giants, and he said that so let's not forget, did they finish 3rd and got to the Challenge Cup final the same year? Then he must have tried to rebuild, continue to build, but went for like more youth rather than signing sort of like the overseas
I don't
things.
know.
He did go with that, so he referenced he'd signed like Flanagan, he signed like Halsall when he went there. Rushton
from Bradford as well.
Listen,
there
are a few bits and bats, but it wasn't.
It does make you think though, like what the style of rugby weren't great, but what are you doing?
It was
something. I know towards the end it went a bit south, didn't it? But
I don't think he was. I think he brought in certain players. He wanted to build a massive roster, so he had opportunity to.
He brought in like
change.
Farge as well, didn't he?
Yeah, but outside of that, he brought in players like Harvey Levett. There were Greenwood. There were a lot of players. Everyone can talk about Flanagan. I don't believe he's gone out there and handpicked Flanagan. I think the club will have done that. Flanagan was only a scholar. Well,
I
don't know.
I think he's a good coach.
Well, he's not ruled himself out of that.
Listen, I don't think he's a terrible. And Swift, I thought he spoke well about how he's going to win and learn.
He's really good.
What I got from that interview as well was he was basically saying that if Hull KR wanted to continue in the same style as what they are doing now, he's worked with Willie, he could be the one to continue that. But that makes you think, well, is that like paying lip service? Like, it's not his.
And that's exactly what out the whole interview I pinpointed that and I thought, really, like I thought
surely
you
what
can't
coming
really
and
come
doing
out and
their
say
own
that.
thing.
Like you're just coming out and saying, yeah, I can copy Willie, just leave me in. And
Yeah,
it's, you know, it's
that's
pretty much what he's saying. Is if you want someone to play the same rugby, I'll just do it.
Yeah, I'll keep doing the same stuff.
Yeah.
It's a strange one, isn't it? That he clearly wants, I think, a head coach's gig at some point, you know, and says he's better for going off and being, well, obviously over to
that's
Seattle.
what I did like about the interview. Yeah,
you know, he's gone to Rovers and obviously had that experience there. It's a real interesting one. He would always sort of, when he was at Salford as well, he always had that link to Saints, and which I thought were a weird one, but I think
Saints have always had a link to whoever's in charge at Salford, don't they?
Yeah.
All the time Rowan was there, there were always
something coming from there.
To be fair, one thing I will say is about Ian Watson, when he first, and he might have ended so, but when he first came in at Giants, he did massively change the culture, which is what's massively needed at Saints now. They've had 4 or 5 years of bad recruitment cycles, and not replace people when they should have done, and not maybe move people on as quick as they should have done and replace them with either younger people from the academy or brought in players, which has massively hampered them now.
It probably would never have happened, but would it have been a bad shout for Huddersfield to try and get Watson back?
Yeah.
I don't think so. I think
if you read the same book twice, it always ends up in the same place, doesn't it?
Yeah. Happens, doesn't it? You see it every...
Reading one of Kenny's classes.
That's it.
Yeah.
Always there.
Yeah.
9 o'clock tomorrow.
Like that.
But yeah, Giants to lose.
He plays this on YouTube to get him out when they all walk in. He's got this on
just leave views on. Put it on mute.
Like and subscribe.
Giants probably, I'm not saying they could do with a win, but they need a performance. Yeah. Especially to lose at home.
Yeah.
Let's be honest.
That's at wide field. Oh, no, it's at Dewsbury, innit?
It's Dewsbury.
Right. Okay.
Well, the only thing is, I will say, is who did Toulouse play last?
No.
They play Warrington.
Yeah, Warrington.
Oh, Wakey. No, they play Wakey.
Oh, it was Wakey, yeah. And it was just, again, I've said it on the podcast all year, you just never give up. Like, you look at the scoreline and be like, you're watching on TV and you're thinking, oh, they've done it. And then you look away for 10 minutes and you're looking back up and they've scored 2 tries. Don't get me wrong, they might concede another one then, but they keep going for the full 80 minutes. And I think that's the only reason why I think Toulouse will beat Giants, because I think like they've just got to 80 minutes in them and they never give up.
I'm going to go with Giants on this one. Just, again, probably thinking about Toulouse aren't going to win every week. I know they try every week, no doubt about that, but then there's some weeks they've not been out the races.
I think this week, not being at Gal Farm, ACU,
something a little bit different for them.
Something a little bit different. I think Toulouse, having 2 weeks to prepare for it, might just jump them.
Toulouse?
I think Toulouse.
Yeah. I'll go with Giants to get a decent win.
Yeah.
Wakefield at home to Hull KR. It's not a good time to play Rovers, is it? I don't think, unless you see it from another side of has the bubble burst a little bit.
They didn't come back from Vegas and start trouncing teams, did they?
True.
No, I think
they struggled a bit to get back on the horse that game. So
I think Trinity it's same as well. I think that last year or 2 years they've had a pretty good record against when KR have gone to Wakefield. And to be fair, I think after the hangover of the thing, the Challenge Cup final, I think just a look, obviously Wakefield having a bye, which probably helped them injury wise.
Yeah.
Wakefield being at home, I think Wakefield will win that one.
There'll be a lot of emotion at Wakefield on.
Yes, that's true. Yeah. I think there will be. There'll be a lot, won't there, this weekend? Obviously, well, every game's going to have something for John in there. I think in this game, I'm looking at it from winning's infectious, but losing. And when teams lose like 3 or 4, questions start getting answered. But when you're a good team and you only lose, how many did they lose last year? 3 or 4 games, maybe, if that. To lose 1, but then to lose a second can become infectious pretty quick, can't it? We saw with Wigan, obviously, with that little blip that they had. I do think they'll respond to this. They couldn't have played really any worse the other day, so I think they will respond. They've got a decent turnaround time. I think is it a Sunday fixture this one or I think KR will just win. I think it'll be close, and I think it could be quite high scoring. I think you're looking at 30 something, 28 or something like that.
KR, Trinity, sorry.
Trinity.
Yeah.
Right, I'll go KR on that one. And lastly, Catalan and Wigan.
Wigan have been up last
year. Yeah, that's the only thing you can read into. I mean, the professionals out there, whether they have been on Lash all week, who knows? They probably could still turn up and do a decent gig, but it's just the travel and stuff getting over there. Probably don't want to be there. Still on that high, it's how do you go on the high of the cut to then come down to earth and get on a plane, jump over there and play in front of 8,000 instead of 60,000. But
Catalan's another reckon 15, don't they?
All right, okay.
So, but
of course it's the Paris. I keep thinking it's.
But Catalans generally, whenever they take a game on the road, generally have a good record.
Yeah, it's true. The Barcelona one.
To Nou Camp and when they went to Montjuic and when they've been to Montpellier and Béziers, so they've got generally a good record of taking games on the road.
Yeah.
So you'd probably fancy them to raise the game. Wigan had just won the Challenge Cup when they went to
Barcelona,
I think.
I loved that Catalan kit. That was a very good kit.
It's not as good this year.
Do you know what? I'm just thinking like the World Cup Challenge, the Vegas
they should
thing.
be playing in a PSG kit.
Yeah, that should have been something like that, shouldn't it? I look at it though and I think these games are just never like Wigan must be thinking now like could do without this like week after Challenge Cup final.
I think it's part and parcel of being a professional though. That's where we want the game to get to. So
I think that's the thing. If you look at footballers,
Champions,
they play big cup final on a Sunday and they'll be in Champions League 2 days later.
Yeah. But look at NRL. NRL, them chopping and changing and going out to outback games and on the road games and Perth.
Speaking of on the road, just to bring it up, Jam has mentioned about potentially a game played in Tottenham, an NRL game. Surely that'd be a success. I think that would genuinely be a success.
Do you think?
If you've got an NRL game, down in London, we'd go.
I think quite a lot of fans would go for something new, especially early doors. And I think if you think in general public, so I mean London's quite heavily populated with Aussies, isn't it? I think.
Especially right around Camden.
So I don't know how many they get for that, but then if you think just general public, it just needs to be done at a time when it's not Coldplay concert at Wembley or FA Cup final on the same day
it'll be 1st of March, won't it? That's when the NRL kick off.
So
it's the only time they can do it. Yeah, it's like Vegas, because then the Players Association insists that they have 2 weeks off after the travel.
All right, yeah. So if there was that, I was thinking it wouldn't be such a bad if just one game's going. Would it be such a bad thing? Because they'd have 2 weeks between games. They'd have a game. Then they'd fly straight out. They'd have a week in London, probably, and then fly back.
No, they'd insist on that return flight having a week off, a week off the week after, and then.
I think there has been discussions for Origin to see it on the NRL 360 that they wanted to do like the Premier League over here, where you have international break, have the Origin break where it's. Right, you go off and you're in Origin camp and these 3 weeks in NRL, and you play like obviously the women's NRL as well fixtures, and you just play them over 3 weeks. So there's been talks of that as well. If that was to happen, that'd be interesting to see.
You won't be able to get a ticket for that.
I know. I'd still be sceptical, mate.
Do you think if there was a State of Origin game here, and it'd be at Wembley, wouldn't it? Probably.
Or Tottenham.
One of the two. It'd definitely be one of them two. Would it sell out?
Of course it would.
What's Wembley? 90,000.
80 something, yeah.
But I remember Challenge Cup. I remember going to Challenge Cup final. I remember specifically being up in the gods at Saints v Hull. Sold out. It just it's so frustrating that top bowl just been shut.
That first Catalan Saints game when they went back to Wembley.
07.
That were a big crowd.
I think it's something that he's looking at now because obviously it's clearly just not getting.
I think
there used to be.
I get it
all
to keep it.
Would take a bus down, and now there's no.
So I did know one. I mean I don't know if it rest of them, but I know definitely one club that took them down. I think it would a £5 for kids tickets and £10 for adults maybe.
Yeah.
which is fair. But like you are thinking like, because it used to be like all the schools would go down as well.
They know that.
And other than like them that make the actual final, they don't.
About it.
Nah.
No one
It's
knows.
almost like it's too late, innit? Like they think of it all too late. It's like now it's done. It's like surely someone is there thinking, right, what are we doing next year?
The problem with the RFL is that they are so understaffed at the minute. Is that the marketing team and the media team are only thinking about Magic Weekend.
Yeah.
And then once
it's like right, we'll get cup final out of the way. And now we'll think about Magic.
And
then
now
we'll think about grand final.
Magic, and then we'll think about playoffs.
Yeah.
Then we'll think about grand final, and it's like, then we'll think about if there's an international series going to go out.
Yeah.
Then we'll think about that. Then we'll think about that. Then we'll think.
Yeah.
And it's like there's no long-term planning. So it's like at the beginning of the year, why have we not got all the promotion material on?
Yeah.
Obviously, I know we've brought it up a few times, but we need this NRL.
I don't think it's happening anytime soon.
Well, no.
Be interesting to see what happens. Yeah, obviously.
To be fair, I think it is more so. Well, the RFL is the reason. It's not happening more than.
Let's not beat about the bush. There's only one person who controls it. Who controls the NRL? And it won't Abdo.
Oh yeah.
So Abdo leaving pays.
Will not change.
It doesn't change any sort of time frame. We're all dancing to Peter Vlandis' tune. I
don't think we are. When he wants something done, he wants it done yesterday. He set out that timeline, didn't he, when he said he wants it done by this date.
So we're all dancing to his timeline, and if we're not done by his timeline, then he'll walk away. It will go quiet now.
And that's the thing. Unfortunately, there's all that noise, isn't there? And if it just goes quiet, it's unfortunate.
But we'll bow down to teams who
part of it,
a great deal of money into the game.
Yeah, something needs to be done. It remains to be seen. Couple of things. So I'm going to go Catalan on the Wigan-Catalan game.
Catalan, yeah.
And I want to, before we finish today, just speak about the women's game. Obviously, the women's final were a bit of a blowout score as well. Now, I thought in the last couple of years that the women's game were kind of on the up. And it just seems to me like, and I don't know if it's just any coincidence or what, but since that England women's team went to Vegas, I just feel like the women's game over here just hasn't had that same kind of, because before there were, I know Wigan have come good, but there were Saints, York, Leeds that were all good. Even like Cass were producing players because they were then moving on to the likes of...
The lady who was in charge at Cass went to York, didn't she, and took a load of their players to York with her.
And I think that was the problems as well. There wasn't... I can't remember. There was there was something wrong with the legitimate contracts as well, so players were just walking out.
I think we were on a bit of a rise.
Yeah.
I think that Vegas game knocked the stuffing completely out of us.
I think so. I think they realised how far away we were from...
To be fair though, what I will say is that was borderline ridiculous to put that game on. And I remember thinking at the time, this is no disrespect to our women's game. Again, it's like our men, we didn't get nowhere near Australian men's. Yeah. And we've been going... Them Australian women's, you watch the normal NRL games, they are high skilled and high level games compared to our women's games. So again, all it is just a difference. But
compared to some of our men's games.
Exactly, that is exactly my point. They're really high, and to be fair, over there, they're on legitimate contracts. I know they do work with sometimes in the club or with the NRL as well, but just as all round. I remember when that game put on, and there were no other way that game was going for me.
It's funny you say it because I look at that game now and think, what was it, 96-0, 104-0. Right, so you look at that game, the game over here for the women's game, it doesn't have that same feel as what it did maybe a couple of years. Like you say, it felt like it were on a bit of a rise. There were a few women's players that had quite a bit of a profile as well. A couple of them were getting NRLW gigs as well, which were great. That could only help us as an English women's team. But if the game's worsened or become at least stagnant here since the 104-0, how do our England women's play them again?
Well, no, I think.
And what does that score? Because they're only getting better.
They're going to have to do in a World Cup.
It comes back to promotion, doesn't it? There's not really any promotion around.
There's no money in it.
Yeah, there's no media in it. There's
pretty much full-time professionals over there.
I think it helps. I've seen that podcast. Emily Rhodes, I don't know the name. doing a podcast. Jodie Cunningham.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all good for the game. That it just gets it
definitely.
promotion out there. Gets it on TikTok. It's on YouTube. People can tune
But
in. Well, that's what they used to have.
I mean.
They used to have curtain
I
raisers,
feel like
didn't
you
they?
used to see it. There were curtain raisers, and now it's just like random days. Like women's are playing.
Yeah.
Like it just doesn't help, does it? Because the wheelchair game was actually getting to a point where it was on Sky Sports all the time, and
it's not anymore.
and people actually. I remember watching one of them wheelchair games. It wasn't a World Cup one, and I had a little bit of an invested interest because some of the lads I knew that were local Leeds lads at the school I was working at, but like there were genuine crowds there. I remember they played, I think, with the final of that at Manchester, and it was sold out. You couldn't get a ticket for it. I know, obviously, there's not thousands and thousands, but it was a sold-out event that actually looked quite good, you know. And I want the women's game to do really well, and there's certain teams that are doing well, but some just obviously don't have the capacity to do it, do they?
That Chalmers comment of you have to raise your game for 2-3 games a season, and that's it.
Yeah.
I mean, you look at they had a nines tournament in Liverpool a few weeks ago, women's nines tournament, and the big teams didn't even send any of their first teams. They just sent junior players, and Leeds still won it with no first team players in it.
Right, I'm going to put you both on the spot now.
Yeah.
I've got a concept to come up with.
Brilliant.
And I was thinking, if you were to...
It's your concept. Or we've got to come
I've
up with
modified a concept that's rugby league related that we can discuss each week, come up with something. So I was thinking, if you were to be a player and you were currently in the game, so it could be women, men, wheelchair, whatever, NRL, what would be your captain's challenge? What would you challenge about the game so far?
What rules? Like?
So it could be a rule, or it could be putting something in. Could be taking. What are you captain?
I'm not just copying off Chris Radlitsky, but I think there does need to be more exemption made in the salary cap for the younger guys coming through. Because like he referenced, they're getting paid peanuts, literally peanuts, and he referenced it to a Costa Coffee worker. I'd actually argue it's less some of the contracts.
So it was bang on, wasn't it?
I'd get that looked into. What I will say is you can't just go around and raise it from 2.1 to 2.5 million quid, because then you're going to get teams that can afford to, and well within the rights to, like your Warringtons, Wigans, that are just going to go out and spend that 400 grand elsewhere on other players when there's probably team. It does create that gap. But I think for your youngsters, if you say, right, until 23, they don't go on the cap instead of 21, if you raise it by another 2 years. Or
it could be that if your players have gone from the academy and they're into first team, they're now on the cap, whatever, it just say there's, I don't know, 5 players that have been promoted to first team, and all them players have got to be on a minimum of 25 grand if they're 18 or what have you. Your salary cap, you get like a dispensation of 125 grand or something like that in that base, so it's almost covered. So if it's 2.1, it ends up being 2.
Something needs to be implemented anyway. Whatever it is around that, I don't know how that looks, but something needs to be
keep all the players. Fair.
I would make it so that clubs have to have a certain amount of their central funding ring fenced for development, not community development though, but the grassroots game development. I think you see it particularly in Huddersfield. You've gone from maybe 20 open age teams to 10. So it needs, I would say that every club needs to have a say in, and if clubs are struggling with money, then we help them with money. If clubs are struggling with players, then we work out a way of how we get more players in. But I would make it so that we have to ring fence a certain amount of money to get the community game up and running again, and not just call it community development, but actually going out and getting that community game up and running again, because at the minute that game is dying, and because that game is dying,
subsequently the quality that we've got is
we were on about earlier with Hull KR signing another young player from 18-19-year-old from Warrington. You look at that and you think, surely he's an 18-19-year-old knocking around home.
Got to be on there.
But this is what's happening, and this is why it does need to be. You think of a city like Hull that have got 2 clubs that their average attendance is I mean, the red side of it, at least 12, 13,000 a game, and even on the black and white side, it's 10,000 a game.
Yeah.
Surely they've got a massive...
There's got to be.
You'd think they're a massive pool of
be.
players, but history maybe doesn't suggest that, but
No.
you'd like to think they were, but yeah.
I just don't understand how clubs like Huddersfield are in every school going.
Well, I've
Yeah.
mentioned, I've referenced this a few times with Huddersfield. You've got a lot of players that have come from, Halifax,
Yeah.
just like Matty Nicholson, who's now in the NRL. There's a load of players that have come from Halifax, and they all go to Wigan. And surely that shouldn't be like, you might lose the odd one or two to Wigan, but
As well,
why are Giants not soaking all them sort of players up? Because the players that are in Leeds are all going to Leeds. The players that even in Cass, I know again you might lose a few, but they're all going to Cass to start off with, and you just think, what's going so wrong there? And then Huddersfield then in turn are taking players from Cass and the players from Leeds, so it's just a knock-on effect all around.
Yeah, and maybe it should be like the ring fenced to their district.
Yeah.
As in, like, if you are playing in Huddersfield,
if you come through the Huddersfield system,
you cannot go and sign for
you go to Huddersfield,
Leeds.
or if you go through the Leeds system, you have to go to Leeds, or Cass, you have to go to Cass.
And then that club has a responsibility to, well, if you don't think that player is quite scholarship ready, but you see there's got to be something in them.
I'd have a draft system though. All these young players are coming through, and if you finish bottom of the league, you'll get first pick on them.
Yeah. It'd be a good shout to boost up that game at that level.
Show
anyway.
it on TV.
It'd be good.
First pick is
definitely.
whoever it is. Huddersfield, Castleford, and they get the first pick at the.
Imagine how gutted you'd be if you were best player in the league though, and had to go to Salford.
No, you don't have to worry about Salford for the time being, but yeah.
Yeah, good ideas.
No,
The reason I asked this is because when we were watching Origin the other day, and obviously Cleary has the kick to win it effectively, and we watched the clock was going down, so he's pretty much in front of the sticks, and just to the left hand side of the post. Now it happens, and there were another game, I can't remember what game it was, and they're taking a kick from in front of the sticks, and I just think, like, 999 times out of 1,000 that kick's going over. So I think my idea was that, I know they did it in the NRL 9s before, I think it was more for like bonus points or tries, but if you score either directly behind the sticks, like underneath the sticks or behind it, or possibly maybe say like 5 metres either side of the sticks, it's just straight 6 points. There's no messing about with taking goals.
Then you see Kieran's first conversion attempt the other day.
The one at York as well.
What, did he miss it?
Missed it.
So that's what I mean. So the odd time it happens, doesn't it, and they end up missing it,
Yeah.
and it's like a blooper, and it makes a big difference. It wound me up that it just like
I always remember
took
Ben
forever. And even the games we're talking about now, what is annoying with games, they're not finished. If it kicks off at 8, it's finishing at 10.
I always remember Ben Walker when he were at Leeds missing from banging from witness, and he tried taking it with his left foot and sliced it, and it went wide.
There was someone else with a big game with it, Wakey Fev did one missing from the sticks in that as well. In First Division one, I always seem to remember that clip coming up. But yeah, I just thought it might quicken up the process. You score the try, you go back, and you just, like, you've got your 2 minutes or whatever, the clock has stopped, and then it's kicking off. None of this like waiting for cone. What was it the other day? The cone wasn't even there.
Yeah.
Remember?
You were
It's
fuming.
with Origin.
You were fuming, yeah.
Where is the cone? Like, what are you doing? Why is the cone not there on the field ready to go? So it's not just he's wasting the minute on the clock. You've then got the celebrations, then they go walking back, then he gets ready, then he pulls his thing.
They've got a time frame, haven't they, that they've got to take it by.
I reckon, how long do you reckon it is from scoring to probably video ref, because everything goes up as a video ref, to conversion to re-kicking off? I reckon it's
still not a patch on how long it takes for a captain's challenge to come through.
Well, that's another one. We'll discuss that another day. But
yeah, it doesn't take as long as a captain's challenge. It's terrible.
I actually think
captain's challenge.
I think from scoring, the actual first put down, to probably a video ref call, to getting set up for the kick, to taking the kick, to the players going back up to setting up to kick off, I reckon it's got to be 7 minutes.
No.
I reckon it's 7 minutes.
No.
I reckon a minute from the touchdown.
It can't be because...
I reckon at least 2 minutes for the video ref nowadays.
No, it can't be because your games would be going on past midnight if it was 7 minutes a try.
So let's think from 80,
Again.
what's that, straight through.
It's got to be
40.
5. It's got to be 5 minutes.
I reckon it's got to be at least 5. Maybe 7 would have been. It's at least 5.
No, it's not.
If it goes to video,
If
then
it goes
it's
to
5
video,
minutes.
then you understand it. But from nowadays, it's just being checked, and then because it's been checked already before they say, "Oh yeah, we're going to have a look at it," you don't need to go backwards and forwards all the time and have a million.
Just feels like it takes so long.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
I don't think it's as long as what you think.
And do you know what else? It puts a little bit of. I think then the kicks that were, say, like your try was outside this red zone or whatever, and you've got to take the conversion. I think it puts more impetus on clubs actually needing proper kickers. Because how many times we've got some really good kickers? Reece Martin, Kieran's good generally. Some are just not very good, are they? Not very good conversion takers.
It costs you, doesn't it? I mean,
and I think like actually it'd put a bit more on actually.
You don't want to run the risk of it turning into rugby union though, where conversions are king.
Yeah.
We want to see tries. And what's better, to see a try scored out wide and a winger touching it down, or someone trying to rush down middle to try and get that extra 2 points.
Yeah, that was the only other thing, was if they break through. But then, like, imagine how many brain farts there would be, because someone would end up running trying to get to the thing and probably standing on dead ball line or something.
Dale Cardoza
Sonny Bill, when he did it.
ran past the dead ball line and put
Shay's
the ball
like,
down.
who's Dale Cardoza?
At the Shay.
It's alright.
Yeah.
He's just showing his age. Like.
Yeah, but he ran over the dead ball line, then put it down. God love him.
That's what Shay did as a kid.
Did you?
never that bad.
Anyway, wrapping up this week's Unfiltered Rugby League.
Yep.
And they called us something else there, but yeah. Good as always, boys, to natter and chat through it. We'll see a few topics there to discuss. Anything to offer there in the comments. Don't forget to like and subscribe, as we've already asked several times. Just helps us to keep getting these guests on. We've got plenty of guests coming up soon on Behind the Name that we're looking forward to bringing to you all. And yeah, don't forget to leave some comments on TikTok, Instagram and YouTube. Thank you again and all the best.